Should we date during Corona? That is the question. Should we date during COVID-19? Some people say this is the time we need more love than ever. And some people say, hell no, are you trying to get me killed? Everyone's got their own opinion. In this video, we're gonna pack some of the ways that we can move forward if we do decide to date. The coronavirus. A few of you may have heard of it. So a lot of people have been asking me, what do I think about Corona? What do I think about dating about Corona? And I really haven't released any real content on this subject, even though it's so, hanging over the heads of many people who, are thinking about dating during this time. It's actually taken me some time to collect my thoughts on this subject and to share some things that I've thought of for people who are wanting to approach this subject. The core of my suggestion really is you have to do what feels right to you. It's your life, you get to decide. At the end of the day, you have to do what feels right to you. That's really my take on it. But we're gonna figure out a few ways to do it a little more safely to make you feel better about it if you do decide to go that route. And we're gonna talk about some of the different thoughts that some people have about this subject. The cool thing is, with modern technology, you actually can form a pretty deep bond with someone without actually having to meet in person. So that's something that's cool about this time, the times that we're living in, that we're able to connect through a screen, like the one you're probably watching me through right now. But if you're the kind that through the screen is just not cutting it, you need a little more action in your life, then this video will help you as well. So I noticed there's basically 4 camps when it comes to viewing dating during Corona. Like the first camp number 1, is basically like, I am way too stressed out right now to even consider dating at all. I don't know what the hell is going on in my life. I'm freaked out all the time, and there's no way I can even contemplate dating. And so this video is more gonna be for people in the other camps. Camp number 2, I feel okay dating digitally or chatting with people over the phone, things like that, and trying to make as deep of a connection as possible through that medium. But I'm not going anywhere near any other humans. Camp 3 is where some safety is required, right? Maybe you want to get to know someone a bit, and then as you feel comfortable with them, there's a bunch of little options that you can do, we'll talk about later in this video, that you really do want to date still, and you think there is a way to safely do it or minimize risk, and we're going to talk about a few of those options in a little bit. Camp 4 is balls to the wall. You probably see a lot of this in Florida, people just partying that crap up, they're taking shots, they don't even know Corona's going on. It's like they're even worse than normal. And probably what you want to do is not date those people, I would think. And you probably want someone who's a little bit more cool-headed and thoughtful in your life, even if it's just about your own feeling of safety. It might be helpful. While nothing is 100% safe, you can use a couple of these to minimize risk and feel a little bit better about the whole situation. Tip number 1, get to know someone before meeting up. A lot of people I've noticed have sort of an aversion to video chatting with someone before meeting them in person. And I always find this really kind of funny because they're worried often about getting flashed or seeing something they, didn't want to see. But I always find it very odd. Like, you want to meet someone in person so that you don't find out that they're, not for you, clearly, beforehand. So I always find this very funny that people are afraid of video chatting because they're worried that somebody's going to do something. I would much rather them flash me through the screen than meet them in person, and have them act weird when I meet them in person. So I think it's way better. You can learn a lot about someone's integrity sometimes through video, which I think is great. So what you want to do is you want to get to know that person a bit, right? You can even schedule video chat dates, which is kind of fun. You can get dressed up, you can play games online with each other. There's a lot of options available to you. I'd highly recommend this one. Again, you get to know someone a bit more, and their reaction and everything to this, I think, can be very telling of what someone's intentions are. And the cool thing is, if things go really well with you on your date, you can throw a little sexting later, all right? Yeah, okay. But shh, don't tell anybody, just keep it between us. But anyway, my point is, you'd be surprised how much of a connection you can form with someone online through a screen, right? Even with some of you guys that are watching this, being able to form really great connections with people like Coach, one-on-one. It's amazing like how close you feel like you can be, because I coach through video chat, and you can create like an incredible relationship with someone this way, even if it's like platonic or like through coaching. It's amazing how close you can be. So I just want to remind people of that, because we all need human connection, and human connection through a screen, while not maybe as great as in person, is something that can be really wonderful. Tip number 2, you can do your first date outdoors. I'm clearly not a scientist by any stretch of the word, but from what I hear, it seems to be one of the best things you can do, and logically I think that makes the most sense. So you can, it's summertime right now, it's hot out, you can go on a hike, you can go to a park, I really want to go tubing. There's definitely ways that you can tube and keep social distance. By the way, bike dates are super fun if that's an option for you, but you can just do something outside. And I think that's something that is underutilized in regular dates. And so maybe something like this can make you do something that you wouldn't normally do under normal circumstances. And outdoor dates are fun. Outdoor dates are fun. Go on an outdoor date. Go ahead. You'll like it. It's fun. Tip number 3, masks and testing. Okay, so I think we can agree that masks aren't the sexiest of date wear. I know, certainly not for me, even though my pineapples are pretty cool. Got this in Bali. Yeah, like that. But it might be a good option as you're getting to know someone that you don a mask. Something you can do. I know there's a big argument whether masks work or not, and that can be up to you, but a lot of people do feel a lot safer using them, and a friend of mine's a doctor and says she loves them. So I don't know, I'm gonna listen to her. Something like wearing a mask can also help some of that post-date fear that you might happen, like, oh my God, I went on a date, I don't even know if I like this person, and I'm worried that I might get infected or whatever. If you have that like post-date panic from going outside, which I know some of you may have experienced. If you do form a good connection, another option you have available to you is, especially if you're missing some skinship, is to get tested. So that's something you can do. You can get tested and quarantine yourself until you can meet up with that person. That's a bit more of a hardcore option, obviously. But if you're wanting to get tested anyway, both of you guys could do that, and then you could feel a lot better. Tip number 4, check your area. So you can go online, you can see what the cases are like in your area. If there's no cases in your county, that's probably a relatively good sign. And maybe you'll just feel better about taking the risk or whatever, because at the end of the day, right, it's in our hands. We get to decide what we want to do or not do. But on the other flip side, maybe if there's a huge outbreak in your area, maybe you want to think about it a little bit more, or be more careful, or postpone it. There's a lot of things that can happen. So checking your area is maybe an option that you might want to do. Tip number 5, and this is probably what I think is the most important for me, and that is you got to trust your gut. That's probably my biggest tip. You got to trust your gut, because sometimes your logic will be saying, yes, all this seems fine, but your gut will say, no, maybe this isn't such a good idea, and you should listen to that. You want to listen to that first impulse, because that's the one that's going to give you the most clarity. Sometimes if we're thinking about it, going back and forth over it too much, you know, should I do it, should I not do it, that first impulse kind of gets scrambled and we lose that clarity if it's a good idea, that first gut hit, when we over logic it. But you know, sometimes the opposite will happen too. Maybe the logic will say not to do something, but your intuition, your gut will tell you this is something that you really should do. And I've trusted it for me, and it's never led me wrong. Out of the probably 1,000 times I've used it, it always tends to pay off, which I think is really great. And that's why I think at the end of the day, you have to do what feels right for you. So anyways, Zachariah Bourne, personal development and dating coach. If any of you guys are looking for one-on-one coaching, feel free to reach out. I got a few slots available around this time. Also, go ahead and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I hope seeing you guys in the next one. Have a great one. Take care.